Here we go.
Your series is dealing with stuff that like a lot of us want to see.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, this is the truth, is that because I came in and I pitched my own idea, I didn't come in and say like, what about baby Han Solo? You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I was like, what I'm really interested in is Star Wars from the perspective of the bad guys. Therefore, if we set something earlier in the timeline, something before the prequels, but a little bit after, end of High Republic, I was like, then the Jedi become, because Star Wars is always about rebels versus institutional threat, right? Underdogs versus huge empire, right? So if we set it then the Jedi become the antagonists, not the bad guys, but they become the bad guys to the bad guy. And I gotta say, Kathy really responded to that. She really felt like that was a pocket of the universe that we had not seen.
Okay, so first of all, with more context, sure, that actually is not bad. Like I understand what she's saying there. Antagonists versus bad guys, good distinction there. But man, like it's just so crazy that like pitches even go through Kathy. Like, isn't it crazy? Like whenever like she's just saying that, she's like, Kathy was really receptive to that. And in my head, I'm just literally like, well, then that you should have known it was a terrible idea. Like she's not. No, why is she involved? What? Kathy? It bombed. She not gone?
That nobody else had pitched her. And so I continued to develop it. I turned it into my elevator pitch. I turned it into a bigger, larger pitch for an overall season and series. And then I did a little rip reel for her. So honestly, doing what I did today felt very much like pitching Kathy again.
I want to stop you there because one of the things that a lot of fans won't know, and I sort of want you to actually talk about is the fact that like Kathy gets a lot of shit online.
Yeah.
But
Kathy gets a lot of shit online.
But I know that she was the one who made this show.
Oh, 100%.
And I think I want people to realize that there were maybe people in the orbit that were not on board with this show.
Well, I think it was, here's what I'll say.
Oh, that's interesting. So explain who wasn't on board with the show.
I think it's difficult to do a show that is critical in any way of the Jedi. And I think that you saw that with Ryan's film. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that especially in that moment, people were very nervous about saying this particular institution may not be the light and, perfect, stunning group of heroes that are totally nobly intentioned. And when one thing that I think Dave would say is that they are fallible. That's really the story that George...
Yeah, they're fallible, for sure, but not dark, not evil, right? That's a distinction.
Told with the prequels, right, is the fall of this particular group. So to me, I went, well, then what happened right before that? He sort of starts in media res in Phantom, right? Like, and so I went, well, if you went back further, where are the cracks in the system? How can evil start to rise in the way that it does? The point where literally one of the strongest Sith that ever lived can infiltrate the Senate and none of the Jedi know of. So I think once you can kind of get people into that place, then they're more supportive. But I think when you think you're going to tell the story about bad guys and the Jedis might be the antagonists to those Jedis, I think that makes people nervous. But it didn't make Kathy nervous. And I will say that room, when I pitched her, it was probably one of the most exciting things because it felt like a conversation and less like I was up for a job.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it felt much more like, okay, but what are you going to do about this? And what are you going to do about that? And so I was able to like fold in what I know about Star Wars and what I love about Star Wars into what she's always pushing for, which is, well, what's the emotional through line?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Does that make you excited for the show? Does that give you hope? That interview with Leslye Headland? I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I'm just going to say for me, no. Yeah, for me, it's a hard no. Like, again, I've just never heard anything she said that got me excited for the show. You know what I mean? I think that if I were to try to be, sort of as nice as I could or try to like steelman her side of it or her argument, I get the desire to want to take things from a different perspective or angle. And it seems like that she's at least aware of what was associated with the backlash for Last Jedi. And I do think the sort of deconstructive nature of the Jedi is a big part of that. And trying to make it seem like the Jedi were bad guys is not the move. So if she's like at least aware of that, and it kind of seems like maybe some of the people in that room she's talking about were at least asking questions about where does that line of thinking take you? Yeah, it could be could be good. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm definitely going to give the show a fair shot, but you know, when I take a step back, and this is just kind of my problem overall with Acolyte and with Star Wars in general, is like, if you're just like in it and you're trying to like make sense of it and you're just trying to say like, okay, well, yeah, as a fan, I could accept this certain thing, and I definitely want to see, I have my trepidations about this, that, second, and the third. That's one thing. But if you really take a step back and you see it for, well, I as a fan have now come to a place where the only way I can even not hate this thing is just to try to imagine a world in which the product itself is somewhat separate from almost everything she and other people have said about it. That's not a really great place to be as a fan. So this doesn't alleviate that for me in any way. Like, she's still saying things that are red flags. She's still saying things to me that bother me. It doesn't really feel like this is going to have like the heart, the beating heart that I think Star Wars needs. But I'm also open to being wrong about that. You know, I think that there is a potential reality in which a person is not necessarily great at expressing their complex thoughts about a thing in a way that just translates into love and passion, and yet is able to do their work with those sensibilities in mind. Like, it's possible that the work will speak for itself and the show's really good. It'll be dope. It'll be nuanced. It'll be great. But I also can't not be a fan where I am at. And where I am at is like, yeah, I guess we'll just see, you know? Guess we'll just see. So, yeah, that's kind of my take. Interested in what you guys think about it, though.